shores of old Lake Erie stands our alma mater true. Fredonia state we proudly honor, with its colors white and blue.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Reflections of Fredonia. My name is Jack Croxton, and I am a retired faculty from the psychology department here at Fredonia. I taught here for over 40 years, and it was a memorable, wonderful time that I spent on the faculty. And I was able to meet so many wonderful students during the time that I taught here. So in retirement, I was looking for something to do, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice to talk to alumni of Fredonia and find out what they're up to these days, and perhaps ask them to reflect a little bit about their experiences here at Fredonia. And thus was the beginning of this podcast. We are actually recording right here in Fredonia at the Fredonia Radio Systems. That is Fredonia's student-run radio station.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chloe Kowalik. I finished my undergrad at Fredonia in May 2024, and I am currently getting my master's in clinical mental health counseling here at Fredonia as well.
So for today's podcast, we have a very special guest. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself by telling us your name and when you graduated from Fredonia.
Sure, I am Colin Perry. I graduated from Fredonia in 2017.
Colin, what did you study while you were a student here at Fredonia?
Too much. I had a major in English, and then I had another major in journalism. Picked up a couple minors there, American Studies, philosophy. I just like to learn, so I took a lot of different classes. But yeah, English and journalism.
So did you start out with those majors, or you just picked up things along the way, or did you have a kind of an idea of what you wanted to do when you came here?
Yeah, no idea. Definitely not that one. You know, I remember being a kid and it being like career day, and other kids come in dressed as like a doctor or dressed in like they want to be a veterinarian or something. I would put a pencil behind my ear and be like, I don't know, I'm a writer or a cartoonist or something like that, right? So no idea there, honestly. I tell people I picked the English major because I really wanted book recommendations, and I liked that, right? I liked being in English classes. It was my favorite subject in school, a big reader, all that sort of stuff. I just really saw it as an opportunity to learn about something that I was really passionate about. But I was aware that, I need to get a job eventually, probably, right? And in my infinite wisdom, my idea for a responsible fallback major was journalism, right? Which is an industry where I think the starting wage is like 15 cents an hour or something like that, right? But, at the same time, I was really interested too in like music journalism and music writing, and I still am. And it's something that I thought I might have wanted to get into once I graduated, right? So I saw the journalism major as a path into that too. Then all the other stuff, I don't know. I was just curious, too curious for my own good.
Okay. Any particular professor stand out for you?
Sure. Yeah. I was here recently a couple weeks ago, or months at this point, I guess, to do some talks with some classes. And I was reminded how fortunate I was. I saw a bunch of my mentors during that. So on the English side of things, David Kaplan, I took my first English class at Fredonia with David Kaplan, maybe my last class in English with David Kaplan, went to London with him. Just a great mentor of mine, Dr. Jarvis, Christina Jarvis. Took so many classes with her too. Really owe my career to her. I would say Elmer Plotz, of course, in the journalism school, definitely a real mentor of mine. So I was really fortunate to have lots of folks like that to spend time with over the years.
I know I always enjoyed reading Kurt Vonnegut, and I know that Christina's kind of the resident expert.
Oh yeah.
On
my
him.
Freshman year, I took an honors seminar on Kurt Vonnegut, and from that point on, I thought, okay, this is a place where I think I can thrive.
Sure.
Awesome. So where are you originally from, and how did you end up here in Fredonia?
Yeah, that's funny. I'm from right over there, and for those of you listening, I'm just kind of pointing to the left because I grew up in it's a village called Cassadaga, And so I actually grew up outside of the village, which is even less, I guess, populated. But it's a very small village, more cows than people probably, and it's right over there, like 10 minutes down the street, right? And so I spent all my life growing up there, pretty much. And I actually didn't really want to be in Fredonia. Funny enough, right? When I was first thinking about where to go to school, because I thought like, I have to get out, I have to go somewhere else, that kind of thing, right? I wanted to just, I don't know what I wanted to do, right? But I have youngest child syndrome. Both my older brother and sister went to Fredonia. So I thought I need to do something different, right? It just didn't work out that way. And I ended up going to Fredonia and thinking maybe I'll stay here, maybe I won't. But, I think pretty early on in my freshman year, it really did start to feel like a good fit for me, and it was, I was enjoying the classes I was taking. I was enjoying the people I was around. And I had a lot of opportunities that I might not have gotten somewhere else. I got to take all sorts of classes and then get into doing journalism with the Leader, right? And I got to do work that I was really, really proud of there, and got to make a lot of friends, and got to sort of be on a campus that was accessible, but also had a lot going on at the time. And just really, I think I ended up in the right place.
Great. Do you have any specific memories or experiences from your time here at Fredonia that just kind of still stand out for you?
Yeah. I guess a couple that I would highlight. So I mentioned that with Dr. Kaplan, I went to London, right? Back then they were doing the Literary London study abroad excursion, right? So it was Dr. Kaplan and then my advisor in the English department, who's also wonderful, Shannon McRae. And the courses were super interesting. One was on like the way that the River Thames intersects with English literature, and the other was in classic McRae fashion, all about like decadent poets and like occultism and just like weird spooky stuff, right? And that alone was like, wow, I really want to take these classes. But I had never really been out of the country, never even been on an airplane before. So it was definitely something that I was interested in doing, though. And I went in the summer of 2015, and I was not even yet 20 years old, and I really, everything I experienced there was just incredible, including not just the classes there. And, I made a lot of friends, people that I still talk to today, somebody that I saw maybe 3 weeks ago at a show in Buffalo, right? That we met and became friends through London. Getting to see and experience a different culture, but one that's accessible, that has, so much history there, but it's also such a modern cosmopolitan city. We were just like, go, go, go. We were constantly busy the whole time we were there. And I loved it. And, I will say one of the things that I loved the most about it was they go to the bars at 5:30 p.m. and last call is like 9:45. And so I was in bed by 10:30.
That's crazy.
And
wow.
I was I was drinking a lot. Like, keep in mind, I was not even 20 years old. My first hangover in my life didn't come until after that whole experience. Right? So actually, I was just thriving as a college student in London, and it was just such a remarkable experience. It's something that I think about to this day, right? And then the other thing I would highlight is my work with the Leader, which, I was editor-in-chief of my year. Chloe, I think you were editor-in-chief. Yeah. I mean, Jack, this is dangerous, getting two leader editors-in-chief together.
Oh, okay.
We could start
I guess
Yes.
I'll shut up for the rest of the
Yeah, do like an expose.
Yeah. Jack, what's your Fredonia story? No, but I came up in the Leader, and I really sort of had a vision for how it just could become a place like FRS was, right? Where it was like this big on-campus presence, and it was like really a huge social function, And I had a vision for how we could just take what we were doing at the paper and kind of kick that up a notch and do that a little better too, So I really lived and breathed that place for the whole senior year that I was there as the editor and the times before that. A lot of interesting stories I got to cover. There was an incident with a clown in downtown Fredonia that really spooked people out. You might remember the clowning thing. I don't know, Chloe, if you were. Okay.
I wasn't like here for that, but I remember like that going on.
Yeah, so that was following that summer with the clowning.
Yes.
There was a Fredonia clown, and I don't know if I was just lucky or resourceful or what, but I managed to get an interview with the Fredonia clown. And so I had like the exclusive one-on-one interview with the Fredonia clown. That was a highlight. That was the year of the 2016 election. So I remember being on TV actually with WNYF, and I think FRS was doing some coverage then too. And that was just an interesting experience. I'll leave it at that. Just all sorts of stuff though. I again, like I felt like I was able to kind of build up the organization there and to kind of literally like open the office door, get people back in, get them like talking and celebrating stuff together. I was very heartened to see that the futon that I brought into the office, because I wanted people to have a futon like FRS had a couch. The futon is still there, and actually it's multiplied. There's another couch next to it now. So that was a real great moment for me recently.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to take up too much time, but I've got to ask, what's the backstory on this clown?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think it was a young woman who I think she might have gone to clown college, or she was just interested in clowning, right? So she was like really good with a hula hoop. She had like the costume and all of that stuff. And separately from that, like, I don't know how the clown thing started. It might have been like around the time that the new It movie was coming out. But in like the summer 2016, people just started across the country. Like you would see on social media, somebody dressed up as a clown, and it's like the middle of the night and they're like in the woods or something. And they're just kind of like standing around. They didn't do anything, right? There was nothing else more than that. But people were kind of like really starting to get freaked out, and it caught on, right? Like one person did it, and then it happened somewhere else, and then it was just like wildfire. But it was such a, I mean, the president of the college at the time, after the video was circulating, sent an email to the whole campus, right? So this was a big deal that we had a clown situation in Fredonia. And I don't know. I have a lot of kooky stories like that where I just ended up in the middle of it somehow. Oh, and my favorite thing ever, I don't know if this is how you felt, Chloe, like as the editor of the paper, but the headline that I gave that story was "Clown Craze Causes Chaos Across Campus." And
That's good.
that's one of the things I'm proudest of, I think, from my time there.
Yeah, I like it.
Good. Well, so I think we've already talked a little bit about your newspaper experience. So we'll move on and talk a little bit about what you're up to now.
Sure.
So I see you're a senior program officer at the Community Foundation for Greater Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
So fill us in a little bit. What do you do there? What are some of the accomplishments you've had there and so forth?
Yeah. So I work in philanthropy, which when I say that, people think that I'm just wealthy and give away a lot of money. That's not the case. But I work for a philanthropic foundation, and a community foundation is a specific type of foundation that operates a little differently from like the Gates Foundation or the Ford Foundation. But basically, we exist to meet the needs of the Buffalo region, right? And to meet them in perpetuity for whatever they are now or in the future. And so my role on the sort of program officer community impact side of things is, it's giving money away, first of all, right? So I am a grant maker, I suppose you could call it, right? Nonprofit organizations come to us requesting funds or seeking partnership in something, and that's our role in the industry, right? Is to sort of be that seed funding or to be the funder, I guess. And aside from the usual grant maker model of things too, we are a convener. We try to get people at the table to advance progress on specific initiatives, things, it's a diverse slate of things, right? Like trying to end the lead poisoning crisis in Buffalo is an example, or trying to, come up with solutions that would enable youth, right, 16 to 24, who are not connected to school, not working, to enter the workforce or to enter education, right, to take that next step and to get involved in the economy, right, stuff like that. I would say, as far as accomplishments, one thing I've been really involved in is the Michigan Street corridor down there, right? The foundation's been involved in that work about as long as I've been alive, actually. And for those of you who aren't in Buffalo and don't know, it is a historic district in downtown Buffalo where the first building built by and for Buffalo's Black community is the Michigan Street Baptist Church down there. It's a church that was built by many of the people that built it were former slaves, actually. Dating back to 1845, it was an Underground Railroad site, and then later became, it was just a natural sort of gathering space for the community. And it became sort of a real hotbed of abolitionist or civil rights activity, hosting speakers and meetings and stuff from the early civil rights movement, the Niagara movement, all the way through up through the 50s is kind of like the historic period of that. And it was something that had unfortunately fallen into kind of disrepair over the decades. But, I actually got involved as a grant writer, which is kind of unconventional. That's what my background is in, though, right, is actually asking for money, right? So it's nice to be on this side of the table. But I have supported a bit of the work there with helping write grants for the organization that owns it and all that stuff. And if you go there now, two things. One, the building is standing, right? And that would have been questionable a few years ago. But the roof is repaired, and I was really involved with sort of helping to manage that a little bit. And then the second thing is that the inside is it looks like it's historic nature. It's been restored, right? So it has just it's totally back to what it might have looked like in like 1940, 1930, and so on, right? That kind of thing. And that was something I was able to help them obtain. And if you go there, it's really stunning, I think. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot more work to be done there, right? All the stuff that we do is long term and it takes time, right? And that's why we're doing it, right? But it is gratifying to actually see something change,
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool.
Here's kind of an off-the-wall question.
Sure.
What would you say is kind of the wackiest grant proposal? Have you ever had a really unusual grant proposal that's come in?
Yeah, that is a very good question. I mean, you get a lot of different things over time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would say...
Yeah, that's got to be a tough question because I know you've probably gotten a lot of proposals.
Well, you know what I will say is that, we recently kicked off a sort of like a fund to do trails maintenance, right? And this is, the idea is that it's supporting existing trails with real like shovel in the ground maintenance projects, that kind of thing. And what I learned through this process, is the first go around of us doing it, is that people are really creative about telling you what is a trail, number one, right? So not just walking trails, but water trails. I didn't know that might be a thing in some people's minds, but it is. And people are also really creative about trying to pitch what is and isn't maintenance. That is kind of, but that's you're going to have that with anything where you're doing grant making, right? Because and I've been on the other side of it, right? A little bit of the job of the grant writer is sort of sales or persuasion or creative writing, to be honest with you, right? So unfortunately, sometimes it is, you get these real creative writing exercises that come in.
I'm sure. For sure.
Similar to that, because you studied English, like, did your time at Fredonia really like shape how you are in your career today?
Oh, absolutely. I said earlier that I really owe my career to Dr. Jarvis, and I guess to explain what that means is that my junior year at Fredonia, I was doing the journalism thing, doing the English thing, and I sort of started to feel like I don't know if reporting is for me, right? And what I later learned is that I really liked being the editor of the Leader, and I don't think I would have a job in journalism that I would ever like as much as that. So my junior year, though, I took a class with Dr. Jarvis, writing sustainability and social change, and I knew one of the features of this class was a grant writing project. Mm-hmm. So I thought, well, maybe I'm pretty good at this, and I could see how the journalism skills could translate over to that. I'll give this a shot and see if it's something that I want to do. And I took Dr. Jarvis's class and really enjoyed it. We had the grant writing unit, and I decided I don't want to be a grant writer. Right. But then, you graduate from college and you need a job. So I ended up eventually getting a job as a grant writer here in Dunkirk, actually, at their CAO, Chautauqua Opportunities, Inc., and was writing funding applications to support all their initiatives that are anti-poverty, right? So homelessness programs, health programs, Head Start, early childhood, stuff like that. And it was really gratifying work. I really enjoyed doing something that was mission driven and where I felt like I was making a difference, and where, the 2 or 3 things that I'm good at, I was able to apply to kind of trying to make people's lives better, making the community better. And so I really trace a straight line from that to being at COI to getting a different job in Buffalo grant writing and then being at the foundation, right? Because it gave me the familiarity with the industry, and my first job at the foundation actually was a grant writer, right? Because part of what we do is try to bring outside resources into Buffalo to really kind of elevate the work that we're doing there. And so that was my first role there. And, I was a student that took 18 credits, 21 credits every semester just about.
Yeah.
So I ended up just kind of getting more things coming my way, getting busier, and sort of ended up more full-time on the other side of the table, right? So where I'm doing the grant making and the project management and the relationship building and all that stuff.
Wow. It sounds like you've really done a great job of finding these opportunities and running with them.
I appreciate it. I think they found me. I mean, none of this is according to plan. Again, right? It's all kind of an accident. So
Yeah.
ain't too bad.
Happy outcomes.
Sure, sure.
Well, you've done very, very well for yourself. What advice would you offer to current Fredonia students?
Oh boy. I would just say, for me, what was important was studying the things that I was really interested in, right? I mean, this is kind of 4 years that you have with people who are real experts in their field. And if there's something that you want to pursue, you should pursue that, right? Because life's too short not to do the things that you want like that. And I would say, honestly, like, you are so young when you're in college, you have plenty of time. Like, you really don't need to know what it is that you're going to do for the rest of your life by the time that you graduate, right? I had no clue. I still don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, right? I would say just, be easy on yourself. Take it easy, right? And go to class. Attendance counts. Go to office hours with your professors, right? All those things, right? Show up, do the work, do the homework, study. All those easy things.
I'd say that's
I like it.
Very sage advice.
Yes,
as a
it is.
former professor, does that ring true to you?
That's right. That's right. You're the giving the model advice for our students of today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I don't mean to brag, but I did almost have a 4.0. So,
wow.
Not exactly though.
Oh,
not that I'm bitter or anything.
probably those 1 or 2 classes just kind of stick in your craw.
Not that I can't tell you my transcript, right? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this has been a great interview today. So we've enjoyed talking to you. And is there anything else you feel you'd like to add at this point?
I don't know. I just have really enjoyed getting the opportunity to come back down and sort of revisit Fredonia and talk with folks like you and to talk with professors and students over the last couple of weeks. I mean, you're getting your master's, Chloe?
Yeah, doing my master's here.
How long is that going to take you?
It's going to be about 2 years. I'm going to graduate in May 2027.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's in clinical psychology?
Yes.
Okay, because you did a double major, right?
I did journalism and psychology. Right now, I'm doing my journalism thing, and I'm working.
Yeah, that's right.
And, same kind of thing. I'm like, I don't know if, I can work concerts for the rest of my life when I'm, in my 40s and can't go to concerts every night.
Right.
I want to do my master's, and I'm going to be working there at the same time and, just finishing my school, going into that.
That's so interesting. So you had Jack as a professor.
I didn't have any classes with him, but I did a mentored research program, and he was like my faculty advisor for that.
That was fun.
And Chloe was a good student.
Absolutely. I really enjoyed getting to know her.
And you
Yes.
graduated when?
May 2024. So
And you
that's where I'm at.
retired last year, Jack?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years
okay.
ago.
But what year did you come to
Yeah.
Fredonia?
1979.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'll close with this. Thank you for indulging me here.
This is
So,
the editor-in-chief side.
Yeah.
like 1979 Fredonia to 2023 or
Yeah.
4 Fredonia. Like if you could, what's like the biggest change in your mind, or a real big change that sticks out in your head?
Wait a minute. So you're turning the tables
Just
on me
for
here.
now.
Just for now.
Is that what's going
Yeah.
on here?
You're right.
Yeah, I think there's been a, significant. I mean, the world is different. I mean, when I came here, we had a big mainframe computer. And that was it. I used punch cards
Oh man.
for my data. Just technology. I
Really?
think really a lot of change. The whole social media thing
Mhm.
has kind of left me behind.
Yeah.
I'm afraid, but the way social media is today, and I don't know, maybe I'll vent just a little bit here, but I feel like social media, it used to be a lot of students would just hang out in the reading room,
Uh-huh.
and there was just a lot more, it seemed to me, face-to-face interaction
Sure.
that social media has brought people together in some ways,
Mhm.
but in some ways it's just not quite the same
Yeah.
in my mind as sitting down and across from another person, having a cup of coffee and just having a chat.
Yeah. No, I think that totally tracks with my
Yeah.
experiences too.
Definitely. Yep.
So,
Okay, I'll end
Yeah.
my interview there.
well, it's been a wonderful interview and thanks for joining us.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you both.
And I am Dr. Jack Croxton.
And I'm Chloe Kowalik, and we'll see you in the next podcast.
Sing its glory and its praises. Let them ring